Let's try this again. Welcome back to Airbrush Down and Dirty Tricks. It is Thursday night, 8 p.m. We are now on track. Now I think we have sound. So let's see what we got. Let's do a sound check and audio check. First out wasn't, because I didn't have the audio turned on the main mic. And now we should be okay. So let's double check. The music should be off. Let's see. That's going to go away. Now it should just be me. Hopefully it is all off. Let's see. Off, off, off. Mics are off. Just me. Sound is there. But great music. All right. There we go. I think we're good. We're good. We're good. Let's see what we got in here tonight. Thank you. First off, thank you all for being patient for the past 3 weeks. And it was just one hit after another. First week, just things weren't coming together. I couldn't come up with anything. The second week, I tried and things weren't working on the system, and it just wasn't panning out in time. And in the middle of doing bikes for Laconia and getting the stuff done, it's just a juggling match. And then when I went to do the feed last week, and everything was looking good, and what happened was that morning, we had a massive thunderstorm come through, and we had a major lightning strike right in the area. What it did is it blew the transformer on the pole in front of my house. Which, I was outside when it happened, and when I say it's the loudest and scariest I've ever been in my life, it was ridiculous, because I was probably about 50 feet to maybe 80 feet from the transformer going. So, big bright light, and right at and the lightning shock was immediate, so it was like right there. And I was like checking myself. And then we lost power, and then town came in about an hour or two later. Things came back on. Everything was good. No breakers popped. Everything was good. TV worked. Everything. My computers worked. Everything worked. And then I came up here, and I set everything up on the feed. I set the visuals. I set the ad for it and all that stuff. And went to turn on my switcher, which is my studio switcher that controls all the cameras, which is a big, expensive box. It does everything. It was dead. Completely dead. Nothing on it. Wouldn't come on no matter what I did. And so that's why I had to cancel the feed. So what happened was I didn't have any power surges through the house. We didn't blow any breakers. No power strips tripped. What it was, because the transformer blew nearby. I talked to my brother who works for Verizon, and talking about EMP shielding, and it's almost impossible for certain equipment. It basically, that EMP magnetic field burst that went through the house didn't take everything out. Luckily, it could have. It only took out a few things here and there. It took out that switcher, which is the most expensive part of my unit. It took out 2 internet network switches. They no longer work. Took out 2 outdoor plugs, the ones that go over Wi-Fi, so I can tell, my Alexa to turn it on or off and stuff like that. And then blew a GFI outlet outside on the corner of the house. Just random things. It just took them out. So I spent the better part of a week replacing stuff and doing stuff. And when I went to buy the new switcher, I know this is a little long-winded, but I wanted to, basically explain what happened, why I've been gone for 3 weeks, and what's happened. When I went to buy a new one of those switchers, they're about $1,600 and $1,700 for the switcher. I noticed the new one is coming out, and the new one's a little bit more money, but it does a lot more stuff. But it's not available yet. Sometime this month or next month, I'm trying to get on early access to see if I can get my hands on one. So what I did, instead of spending $1,600 and then waiting to spend another $2,500. I went back to a smaller switcher, which is the same use my big one, but it's what I originally started with back in 2019. And it does most of the same stuff. I can't do, I can do picture-in-picture. I can do some of the ads. You'll see the stuff come up on the screen, this stuff, and I can do all that. But I can't do, top-down view, side view, me talking all in one shot with the backgrounds for that. None of that stuff happens. And I know that's not important to the content of the feed. But I like the experience is great, and it gives me a lot of flexibility, because it also, the system records each camera at the same time and times it, so I want to edit. There's a lot of stuff it can do. So this one I'll just be without a lot of the features, which is fine. So we're going to go back on track for a while. And then the new one will be in a few weeks or a month or so. And that's going to let me do even newer stuff. Like I can bring in on-air videos. I can bring on-air graphics in. There's all sorts of other stuff I can do to make better content in the future. So I'm investing in that down the road once it's available. So that's the long-winded item of what happened. So we are going to start off where we were supposed to start off last week. But before we do that, let's get back on track. Welcome back to Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks. Let's see who's in the house. We got a bunch of you guys in here. And I also want to say to my paid members, all my Down and Dirty Tricksers, thank you for sticking with it. I know the month flipped over since I did the last feed. And I will say all but two, and some of the two are just random people that come in and out, stay with us. So thank you for the continued support. I will make all the content up to you guys. So with that, I want to make sure I can do this. Still can do that. See, thank you for all my Down Dirty Tricksters who stayed with me, who support the channel, and a couple new guys in. So thank you very much, and we'll keep this thing rock and rolling. So thank you for the support. That's first and foremost. Other house cleaning business. Let's talk about obviously who we like to use here. You got Uada, Createx, Maple Coast, FBS, all that stuff. Thank you very much. Vision Air and Fisheye Filter. That's a lot of equipment we use for those new to the channel. And of course, most of the stuff, this is not a download product. This is just a visual piece and a process. But all digital content is at MckayFineArt.com. And also all members get 25% off when you're a member. The last thing is, it's not for another year, well, it's less than a year now, is International Airbrush Days. And that is going to be next May 2026. So me, Rod Fuchs, David Naylor, Marissa, I can't pronounce the name. We're going to be doing that next year, so there's going to be a lot of information on coming that in the future. All right, let's talk about our reference image here. This is a little guy we're doing. See, I can still do graphics, I can still do some cool stuff. I have to do it differently, and I spent all 2 days reprogramming stuff, because all this graphics, that's all in the old system, all had to be imported into the new system and reconfigured, blah, 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 blah. It was not turnkey, but we got through it. So, who we got here? We got Michael Cohen, Amos Mendez, Kyle Shees, what's happening? Rob Sear, Lindsay, what's going on? Kelly Ross, what's happening? 12 Things I Like. I like that name, that's cool. What else we got here? It was Todd. Todd, what's going on? Mike Manning. Raymond Shea? I think that's how I pronounce it. If I butcher your name, I'm sorry. I'm from Boston. And we have wicked hard pronunciation skills. So, all right, let's get cracking. Any questions, any concerns, get them out there. I think everything's good. I want to say we're in good shape here. And yeah, I think this is all going to work out good. And I can also, let's switch up here. Let's talk about what we got going on. We have our little sea turtle guy here. Let's bring this is the side camera. Camera 2, my 3/4 view. That's working good. And I can still do this, I think. Oh, yep, I can go picture in picture. Yeah, it moved, but whatever. So, hi, we can do that. That was supposed to be in the bottom right corner, but it's not. Oh, yeah, there we go. But now I can't shut it off. Oh, yeah, I can do that. I'm just getting used to all this new setup. Yeah, see, I can do that. It's big, cool, that'll work. All this is made possible by that switcher, all the stuff I'm doing. So that's that Black Magic Atom switcher, which allows me to do all this. It allows me to do the feed, because that box doesn't just switch cameras. It actually takes all the cameras, cleans it up, it makes a nice, stable feed out to YouTube and everything else, bypassing the computer, and it has no software, and it goes out through the network as clean as it can be. That's why this box is so important to the feed, because it takes any software out of it that tries to like compress and change it and go through a computer, go through an app, go through this, back to YouTube. This goes from this box direct to YouTube on a network stream. That's why this box is so important. Good. Okay, so we can hit you off now. We can bring up reference image. Cool. All right. What do we got? Let's see. What did I pair tonight? So water, because, oh, the other thing that blew, which is not a result of the, which was not a result of the lightning strike, but this season, because you know I usually have, because this is the third floor of my house, which is, yeah, it's an attic space, but it's a full floor, it's a full walk-up, 800, 900 square foot room up here on the third floor with, full height ceilings and shit. So it's not like an attic space. That's what the studio is, but it gets hot because the house is 135 years old, and it's not easy to cool off a 3-story, 135-year-old Victorian with no central AC. So I have window air conditioners, and I have one that works and does an all right job, but to get it really cold on hot days, I need a second one, which is the in-room one that's in this space, because there's no full windows in here. They're all skylights. So I have an in-room air conditioner, and that's not working. And I ordered one a week and a half ago. It hasn't shown up yet. So it is 81 degrees up here right now. So it's hot. So I'm pairing it with water tonight. Quite a bit. But I did bring along just a little Buffalo Trace for the evening. So thank you for asking that. You ever looking for gifts for me, or want to send stuff for the feed? Bourbon's always welcome. Just saying, whiskeys and stuff. Or other things we could try on air. Feel free. Cheers. All right. Let's see what we got here. All right. Let's again, I'm gonna shut that picture off. Bring up Mr. Reference Image. All right. Basic sea turtle. I'm gonna try to do something here. There we go. I can see that better. Cool. Rhea? Oh, Rhea. Cool. All right. Let's see. Standard practice. This is your basic. I found a really cool image I want to do a painting of. And how am I going to get it transferred? How should I break it down? How should I work it through the process? Okay, how am I going to get this onto a panel and paint it without really messing up the panel and keeping it clean and being able to keep working? It's a tried and true process I've used for years. You don't need a plotter for it. You don't need any technology other than a printer and a razor blade. If you don't have a big printer, my printer does print 12 by 18, so I can print these large ones. If you don't have a printer, you can obviously take 2 pieces of paper and put an image together. Or you can go to a place like Staples. Staples, their regular copier machines will do 11 by 17, so you can bring an image on a thumbstick, put it in, and then copy the image from there. Again, when copying images, I recommend you don't copy it from other artists. If it's protected, licensed, you got to be careful. Especially if you're doing it for a profit or reproduction and things like that. So I try to source as much as I can, find out if it's open source, meaning if it's available for use, or if it's like something like, you got to be careful doing. So, and I tend never to use other artists' work, other paintings, and repaint other artists' paintings. If I was to do it, I'd be working with that artist and getting permission. And in most cases with photographers, I've gotten permission just with a simple email. So there's so many sea turtles. I got a whole ton of pictures from the New England Aquarium that I took. So I just went through my library. This was actually sent to me by a client to do a painting years back on a bike. So I had a whole image file from him. So that's the one I've worked with. So, yeah. Okay. We're going to do this freehand. We're going to do it freehand with loose masking, templating, and things of that sort. Let's talk about our panel first. This is an aluminum panel that's been sanded with 600, and then this has been sealed with Autoborn sealer by Createx, so it's a water-based sealer. Same process if you're using solvents, if you're using PPG, or you're using anything. You could go, because this is a metal panel that's already got a coat on, you could just go right to base coat. So what I did is I made like a sea foam kind of bluish green. I took, with the Createx, I did their blue Autoborn sealer, yellow Autoborn sealer, and white. And I mixed them equal parts, and I got this kind of cool blue. And I painted that, and then I started dumping it and adding more white to it, and I did a halftone transition. So this transition is actually in the panel that you're seeing. It's actually, let me go, you can actually see that it's darker on the bottom, light on the top. It's not just the lights in the studio. Is this where they're painting the Maryland turtle? Fear the turtle? I don't know what that's supposed to mean. So yeah, so that's been that's been done. So this process I'm doing, if you're doing a gas tank, you do anything, it's the same process. All right. Now, what I've done is, because this has been cured, I gave it a nice scuff down with gray Scotch Brite, so I'll get adhesion. That's your basic prep. That's your basic step. You get a gas tank, or you get a metal hood, or a panel, or whatever. I got some mini hoods coming from Spray Gunner in like a week or so. So one of the next feeds are going to be doing some mini hoods. So I'll be something different. But this is standard prep. And so you have your base coat down, or you got a blue car, a white car, you sand the clear, scuff it, open it up, get it ready for artwork. This is how you want to put it, get it on there. Couple different ways to do it. I've already pre-cut some pieces, but I'm going to walk through what I did and how I did it. So basically, I took the print out, and I did a cutout of it. So I have a silhouette, okay, which is nice and cool. We have our reference image, our normal reference image. And I cut a detail one that's got some of the details already cut out. So you can just use it. This is all just hand cut, and this is just for registration, and then you can freehand most of it. It's going to get your basic shape, so I'm going to walk you through. Now you can do that without any transfer. You can just start painting. If you want to get line work down there, if you want to get I'm not going to get into technical terms of sea life. It's a sea turtle. But there are many types of sea turtles, and there are many types of technical names for them. We're not going to get into all that. But thank you for the information. If you want to transfer an image like this, what you want to do is you can use Sorel paper. You can use things like that. Oh, Maryland College, Fear the Turtle Terrapins. Ah, got it. Yeah, we have a really cool old sea turtle up here at the New England Aquarium that's pretty famous. If you remember the carousel I used to paint, it had a big, huge sea turtle on it like you could ride. And that was sculpted from the one at the New England Aquarium. Okay, so if you want to transfer an image, you can get something called Sorel paper, which is like a vinyl transfer paper. Like a carbon paper, but it's safe to use for paint. It's silicone free. It doesn't have oils and grease and things like that. So I don't like a lot of it because I think it says wax free. It is wax free, but I still don't love the way it puts the material down. It does get a little like chalky, meaning things tend to, like, if you paint over it lightly and then wipe it down, sometimes paint comes off. So I'm not a huge fan of Sorel. I tend not to use it too much. I'm trying to find just a standard pen. There we go. Okay, so what I like to do to make my own transfer paper, really simple, is just take soft lead 6B pencil lead. Get it on there, back and forth. And then I take the excess off with just a little paper. I've done it a million times in the feed. It's the most effective way to transfer, and it just works. So I'm going to line this up on my panel. I'm going to tape it down so it doesn't move. And man, I wish I could have... The AC I have up here, I can't have on during the feed because it's an old air conditioner, old window one. It's freaking loud. My new one, the newer style one, the in-room one, is quiet, but it's dead. So I'm just going to sit here and sweat. Michael Manning, thank you so much, sir. Much appreciated. Thank you. And so what I'm going to do is, I prefer to use a pen when I do this because it really shows up well. I'm going to go through, and just like carbon paper, let me switch to my top down because I think you might see it better. Yeah, see, you can see the line. See that line? It might be hard to see. As I do more, you'll see it. It's a nice transfer, and by using a pencil, it stays pretty fine. And the most important thing about doing these lovely little creatures is all these markings, especially up here in the head, they're unique. They're like fingerprints. Every single one's different. So you can actually identify the same sea turtle by their markings. So which is kind of cool. So I'll show you once I get this head done here. There you go. See? You can see you can see the sea turtle. And Sorel tends to be thicker when it goes down. It like leaves a heavier thing. When you use a graphite like this, it's much nicer. It's not overly done. The nice thing is when I start doing like paper cut stencil type work, by cutting this image out, everything lines up. It's the best way to transfer an image. Actually, I just did, and I got to finish the edit of a time lapse. I just did Jack Nicholson wearing the football helmet from Easy Rider on the back of a bike, back of this really cool FXR that's going to Laconia. Same exact process of I'm doing here. So everything I do here, and some people get confused about, do more motorcycle pieces, or how do I do it? Every technique I do here is the same technique on how I do work on motorcycles and cars. It's just easier to show it on a flat panel with all the cameras than to bust out, gas tank and set up the lighting. The lighting is harder. It's harder to work around all the cameras. That's kind of the only reason I don't do it. But what I am going to start doing is the only benefit to this whole situation happening is with the switcher is now I got this small unit switcher, which I'm going to keep. It's the same one I used a long time ago, but I had sold that one off, and so I always had the big one. So now this is nice because I always have a backup one. Once I get that new big one, I'll keep the small one. But the small one now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in like a portable case so I can take it to places and set up while I'm live, at events, which I got a couple things coming up this year. And I can bring a couple cameras. And the other thing is I can set it up in my shop, in my garage portion where I do a lot of the other work. And I can do some other feeds like wet sanding and polishing, gold leafing and things like that. Stuff I don't want to do up here. I'm not going to wet sand and polish up here in my studio and make a mess. So the plan is going to be to do some future feeds in there. All I got to do is, outfit some mounts out there, and then I'll have another setup, like a shop setup. It'll be a little bit more stripped down like this is going to be, but I think it'll be good overall. So that's the plan for the future. So just taking what happened in this situation and I'm going to make something out of it. So you just go through it. As I go through, you see you get a nice image transfer. I think if I take this off, you should be able to see it. Can you guys see that pretty well? Yeah, you can see that pretty well, I think. Oops. There you go. Get a little closer, and I just gotta up for the white balance when I get that close. Yeah, you guys can see that. So, like I said, the cool thing about doing this way is if you don't want to use any stencils, you don't want to do paper cut, you just want to do traditional freehand, go for it, which is also a super fun way to do it, which I'm going to do a lot of freehand in here, but you can do as much or as little freehand as needed depending on your ability level. So when I do these techniques, I can sit here, just bust out the airbrush and start painting freehand. And that's cool. It's fun. That's what I do out the shop a lot of times. But from my purpose on these feeds most of the time is educational, to show techniques and processes, how to attack problems more efficiently and faster. In freehand, albeit one of the nicest, coolest ways to do things, it has its own things. It's the hardest. It takes the longest. It takes the most skill. It takes the most practice, and it can be boring to watch. And hard to learn from, because you're just watching someone paint. You don't really know what's going on. But these techniques, I can kind of show you ways to get there, so that when you're freehanding within your ability. You're freehanding where you can actually, you can kind of work into it. You can you can mask to get your structure in. So basically, when you can just focus on your freehand. Because when you just freehand solo, you're focusing on the design, the shading, the look, the placement, the tone. You don't have any mapping to go on, and it's not easy. It's not that it's hard, but it takes more skill sets and it takes more dedication, and just like anything. So by doing with these techniques, you can attack the problem a little more efficient and faster. Less chance of messing up. And me, half the time, I'm not painting this just to paint a cool painting for myself. I'm painting it a lot of times for a client or for a job. So there's timelines and people need it, and they expect a certain look. And the most efficient way I can deliver that to a client to get the job done, get paid, and move on. That's the name of the game, really. If I was painting just for fun, there's a lot of images I paint for people you would never see me painting because it's not what I want to paint. But when you paint for a living, for clients, you want to find techniques to do it the most efficient and get the best result, so your client's happy, you're happy, everyone's happy, you get paid. And that's why I show a lot of these techniques. It's why I do a lot of it, because I think it can help you guys. And it helps me master my techniques, because the more different techniques I teach, the more I learn, the more I get better at doing it. And then when I do live classes and workshops, I know how to teach things better, because I've worked out different ways of doing it. As I said, when I do my International Airbrush Day classes, I'm mapping those out now to figure out what I'm going to do and what I'm going to teach. And I like to see what techniques work. But yeah, this is like, it's the most tried and true technique. It's just, it's just like, you can project it, you can draw it, and there's all people like, oh, you should just freehand it with nothing. Well, go for it. You can do that. There's guys that are really good at it. I can kind of do it most things. Some things I'm not great at doing. Some things I can. I can just pull up the airbrush, start painting. You want skulls and demons and stuff like that? Yeah, I can just pull up an airbrush, pull up a thing, and go. When you're doing portraits and stuff, you don't want to just willy-nilly it. You want to actually work and try to match as close as you can. When you paint from realism, you want to try to nail certain attributes. So you use whatever technique gets you there the most efficient. And your client's going to be happy, and you're going to be happy. Now, if I'm painting just me for myself in an image I like, yeah, I'll probably do it total freehand and maybe bring a little shielding here and there. But I think it's best to know multiple techniques, and the more ways to attack a problem, the better. This is good if you have a unique background to use it. Yeah, So, cool. I have the whole image transferred. I can see it probably better than you guys can. But the cool thing now is now I can do a paper cut. And look, that paper cut lines up with, because I printed out from the same file, that paper cut lines up. And I know I'm using an aluminum panel, but this is a steel plate behind it. And these magnets are strong enough to hold through. So what I want to do is I'm going to work on the background a little bit more first. No, these little ones probably won't work as well, but they work enough to hold it down. If you're on aluminum and you can't get it to stick, what you can do is, I gotta bring one up here, I keep forgetting. You get a single hole punch and go through and punch holes inside, and then you can put a little piece of tape to hold it down. Okay, that's another way to work it. Yeah. The temp just keeps going up. It's nighttime, the temp's still going up in here. How's the feed been, guys? Has everything been stable? Audio, video? Has there been any clipping or anything like that? Hopefully everything's really good and stable. Because I can see it on my end, but I'm never sure how it's being received on the other end. Alright, let's bring up the reference image here. And I'm kind of going to do that same type of look. We're going to do the waves. We'll do some bubbles. I'm going to change it up a little bit. So colors I've mixed up. I didn't do the color list like I normally do. All the colors come up on screen. I didn't have time for that. Mike, thank you very much. And to all my guys waiting for panels, there's quite a few of you here. Everything's done, cleared, buffed, ready to go. I just got to get it out first of the week. And we'll go from there. Thanks, Tony. All right, so colors I've mixed up, and I don't have my color cam like I have, but I do have my color rack of colors, which is in my little rack holder that you guys can get. Holds some medicine cups. So I have opaque white. I have wicked. This is wicked transparent. This is wicked opaque white. This is wicked regular colors, the transparent. I have Laguna blue and wicked blue. Those are normal. This is a candy Caribbean blue with a little bit of poison green to make it a little bit more oceany teal. And then I have a black that's also cut with the same blue. So, it's not truly black. That's it. Very limited palette. So I'm going to do first. I'm going to take the wicked blue. And I've already strained this. What's happening? Wicked blue. A little test here. Just a nice blue. So what I'm going to do for a stroke here, they're basic dagger strokes, like your standard dagger stroke like this. But I'm a further distance away, and I kind of move a little bit. And I kind of come distance to and fro, back and forth, air on, and just kind of work it like that. So I'm going to look at my reference image. And what I can do, love this stencil. I'm going to shut the reference image off here in a sec. This is the Dennis Matheson bubble effects. These are great. There's some great features in here. And it's just got some really cool edges. And I'm going to use it just to kind of design an edge. Just a little bit. Because you can see, it's when you see the reference, we got the waves up here. That gets darker on the bottom, which we're going to do. And we can kind of come up in here and just do little waves, little soft dagger strokes. You could take like my glue stencils, like these. And I could take this, and I move them. If you move when you paint, you get a really... Actually, I won't use mine. I'll use one of Gerald's. Let me get one of Gerald's texture effects. The normal texture effects. Because this is a nice trick. regular texture effects. Yes. For a 25-year-old switch panel, it's doing great. Oh, I don't have a 25-year-old switch panel. It's just an older one. This one came out, actually, this model came out around 2020 that I'm using now. So it's old. But all right, General Mendes texture effects. If you obviously spray it directly on, you got to get that. But if you spray and move, you get a really cool kind of random texture. So you can play around with it a little bit. See what I mean? You get a really nice, organic, something you can do obviously with an airbrush, but this is just a kind of a cool way to do it because you can give these nice little waves and things like that in here. And then come in, mix in a little freehand. Down here, we're just going to darken it up. And this is all with the transparent blue. Keeping it simple. We can always go back in at the end and add more, but we're just going to set some background up. The one thing, if you use a Sorrel paper, it's harder. Yeah, it is. Which is why I like to do the transfer, because if you put the artwork on the paper, you're not trying to hit 2 or 3 things on at the same time. You can put this on the paper. I've done it with chalk too, on the back of paper, just straight up chalk. And you can just magnet the paper on there, not trying to do paper and Sorrel and everything at the same time. And the curve obviously can get you can trip you up a little bit. There's ways to mitigate that too. Oh, and I said I do have a frame for this one. I cut it. I got a couple frames in here, and I got to start clearing them out. So this is gonna sit inside a nice frame. If someone, I think this frame was like $25 or $30. I've had it sitting around a while, but it would be a nice look. You can see, and that'll go with the piece as well. It could be cool. Always taking bids, man. Always. Especially with the piece of equipment I gotta buy. This one wasn't bad. I found this one actually used secondhand, but it's a refurb. It was only like $300, but the new one's gonna cost me about $2,400 when it comes out. We'll get there. So I am definitely taking bids. We're at 82 up here now. God damn it. Oh yeah. It's a lot of blue. It's like my background. If I cut to my background, hey, my background's all blue. Alright. Alright, so now, I don't know how this Laguna blue is going to work right now, so we're going to try it, just see what it does. Because it might be just a nice little secondary transition color. Yeah, it's just kind of, it's a nice extra tone. It's almost like a glaze. I don't want to bring in the candies just yet. That'll be like towards the end. But what I want to do is I'm going to take that Laguna and I'm going to add the opaque white to it. So I'm not using a pure white. I don't want to use a pure white yet. Yay, we have an opening bid. Thank you, Gary. Let's get you on the board here. Let's get that on the board and put up a little thing here. Gary needs some... Gary definitely always needs more artwork, man. Everyone needs more artwork. Gary, 250. The opening bid. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Alright, so let's take this white. Alright, so now it's a whitish blue. So if you look at... So instead of using pure white, you'll see it's a nice, you know, you can't even see it there. But here, you'll see it. And I really want to put some more behind him, like that reference image. And I want it really a lot brighter up in here in the center to get that nice downward look. And we'll get it really bright right along this edge, like the light's coming through the water line. And the cool thing about this, I wish he's got a little nice wave pattern too. He can kind of come in and just do a couple. That's some nice little waves, happy little waves. And we could do a couple little bubbles coming up here like that. We'll bring up some other ones, but. Great way to start everything up. If you reach 50, you shoot for 60. There you go. Love that attitude. That's a winning attitude. All right, so let's see what we got here. Ta-da! See, so now we got a nice, subtle transition. We have our roadmap. I want to delineate here a bit more so I can kind of sharpen this up. I don't want to go too dark, again, because I have other features to work in. So just make it a little lighter. And then we have those glazes and things we can come over later. Trying to tell my wife that this would go good with the tiki. Yes, yes, it would go. Tiki looks awesome cleared, man. I said I'm going to get those out all next week. I wanted to get them out early this week, but chaos ensued. I never ship anything on a Thursday or Friday that's going to go any distance. All right. So now what we do All right, the process at this point, I'm not going to go through the whole process, but I've done it ahead of time to make this more efficient, is now that image you transferred, the one with the paper, now what you want to do is you want to cut out all, not everything, but the major shapes. If you look at what I've done here, the major dark spots I've cut out, okay? So what that's going to do, again, it's just registration. You're not going to blow this in dark, and please, if you're trying this for the first time, remember this rule. You can always add more paint. It sucks to take it away. It's not something Confucius said, and it's not a very tactful way to say it, but the fact is you can always add more paint. It sucks to take it away. So, you want to start kind of light. Okay? And what I've done is, if you notice, when I put the image is lined up exactly with the bottom, so I just have to get kind of a left and right orientation. And when I say less is more here, guys, less is more. Okay? Very little paint. Almost nothing. Okay? I'm going to go to distance and watch. Probably not even going to, you're not even really going to see it. I wonder if I come in on a side shot and change the focus. Hold on here, guys. I wonder if I can change, yeah. Let's see. I'm going to change up the camera a little bit. I'm going to see if it works better. So watch. Can you see that amount of paint? Just barely. So it just tinted it. That's literally all I'm doing right here. Because even though they are dark areas, as we say in Boston, the darkness, I'm not going to go super dark. Because I can freehand that and bring it in. But I can check it and see. See what I mean? It's just there enough. And then in certain areas I can look at my reference. I can start going a little darker. The eye I know is pretty dark, so we can hit him. Like the beak area, I'm not going to put a lot because there's a lot of freehand going on. These are cracks. Just little things. There's a lot going on. See, but now I have my general shape of everything. Okay? And that's really half the battle sometimes, is just getting that registration in. And what I can also do is I made this beak kind of come off here. So I can fit under it just a little bit here. And then, ta-da! You can really start with everything and just get the registration out. So I'm glad everything's working. We're in an hour on this feed, which is good. Which is really good. I don't think I'm going to make a 2-hour feed tonight because it is now 83 degrees in here and climbing. So we will definitely do a 2-parter on this. We'll try to do one over the weekend, or we'll do a Monday feed. Because next week, next Thursday, I'll probably not do it next Thursday because I have to do the interior of, I think it was a 44 Plymouth pickup. And I got to do the wood grain. So that's going to take up most of my Thursday. I think we're doing a Thursday and Friday. Wednesday is my birthday, and I'm not doing the feed or working on my birthday. So this will be part one, and this will be the setup. Yeah, exactly. And the other thing about being an alien here is doesn't affect solvent paint as much. But one issue with water-based that a lot of solvent guys complain about, and they're not wrong, is when you start getting hot and humid, the paint characteristic, the way it flows, does change a bit. Because the moisture in the air does affect it. I mean, it does with urethane too, but not as dramatically. But when you start getting hot, yeah, after Steve's feed, when you start getting hot and humid with water base, it does mess up. It gets more tip dry and things like that. So you have to reduce the paint a little bit and mess around with it. Thank you. But you can see now, this is that fun part for me. This is where all I'm doing is toning. I'm putting some tone in, where things are going to go, where the darker areas are. Just getting set up. Tonight was really about making sure the feed's working, or stable, and yeah, I didn't want to heat up. I didn't want to heat up the equipment too much. All right, so typically, here's a good. Now, usually when you do something like this, you drop shadow under the wing. But when you look at the photo reference, there's light touching the shell. Okay, so I'm going the opposite way. I'm following my photo reference. It's lighter here. Oops. What the hell? Oh, because I moved my... There we go. Your first inclination as an artist is, oh, you drop shadow under the fin. But if you look at your photo reference, you notice it's lighter. So I want to focus on that. So now I can take this and just kind of cut and fold that back a little bit. Oh yeah, turning metal into wood grain, which is how it was done in the 40s too. It wasn't even wood in the 40s. So yeah, I gotta do the dash, I gotta do the interior panels and window trim and stuff like that. So it'll be cool. Let's see, it's darker under here. Kyle, thank you, sir. Hope the sound effects are coming through. And maybe by next week I can add things like the colors I'm using and do some other stuff. And now I just got to get a hold of Blackmagic Studios and see if I can get on their partnership program there. Kind of an influencer program, but not really. It's more of an early access program for the content creators, and I can review products, and hopefully I can get on that board, because that means I could get the unit I need much sooner. We'll see. We'll try. Need more followers. Need more followers. Okay. Let's brighten it. Brighten a few things up here. Like the shell into here. Like I said, I'm just going to start toning in a few things that are lighter. Looking at the photo reference. Yeah, you look at the photo reference and where the light spots are. And as I said, I'm not going pure white. I'm going that blue-white mix. Hold on, it's not quite white enough, so I'm going to mix a little more. Cake for my birthday. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah. I've had one rule in my life since I was a kid, is I never work on my birthday. I've had it with family and friends. I think I've worked once or twice. I think the only time I did is because I was at an event. It just happened to fall. Yeah, so just a little lighter. And this will also kind of cut down on the, you know, cut out some of the pencil lines that are showing. Just build in some extra tone. And you feel like it's brighter between the, you know, between kind of the scales. And I don't think they actually call it scales, but the patterning. And just kind of setting that stuff up. Like a midway painting. Need to do something like this, but do the Maryland crab. Oh, that could be cool. Send me an image, man. I'm always up for cool ideas. What I should do one day is have you message me ideas or put them here. Kind of like Steve does, like the 543. He gets different ideas. We'll put a group of ideas and then maybe have members vote on it and have it members' choice. So members of the channel get to pick the actual upcoming painting. We'll do a members' choice feed. That could be fun. That could be really fun, actually. Let's try to work on that. Get some ideas up there. What can we use for like a hashtag blah blah blah, so I can search it. How about DDT, like hashtag DDT, or just DDT and then DDT, then an idea next to it, and then I can search through and try to find it, like capital D, capital D, capital T, but down dirty tricks, and then an idea. Yeah, we'll look at those ideas, and I'll put a poll up for members only, and the members can pick a feed, a future feed. Or the next feed after we finish this one. That could be cool. Let's work on that. I like that idea. Plus, it'll help me get more ideas. Because sometimes those weeks, you know, I don't have time to come up with something, and then I struggle the last day. If I start getting a pile of ideas, I can work with those a lot easier. Yeah, so you can see this is just a nice point to do like mid shading, some tonal work. Kind of underpainting, if you will. Some textures. They're just little bits, kind of set up for the details. Kind of non-descriptive, just slight build layers. That's all I'm doing here. A lot of it goes away, little daggers and dots, little things. To set up for all the detail later. I can go in between all these scales, and it starts building that actual texture. Ooh, DDT polar bear. Really? That's a cool idea. I like a polar bear. Kaylee's gonna want that piece because one of her early teddies was Poe Bear that I got her. Obviously his name was Poe. But see, this is a nice way. Now I can do that white tonal piece. Ooh, jellyfish on copper. I do have a jellyfish painting coming up, but that is for the house. That is for our stairwell I've been wanting to do. I actually bought a big canvas for that. But maybe I could work out an idea on the feed before I do a final. We'll see. Zombie shark. Ooh. And DDT. I like this DDT. That's going to be the new thing. DDT, then idea. And then I'll pick a bunch of them. And we'll do a members post. It'll just be a members. And the members can choose out of like a handful of them. I'll pick like my 4 or 5 favorite out of the list, and then we'll let you guys vote. How's that sound? Oh, I do have a cool Eagle Strike one planned already, and it's holding a mouse, but add a snake. But see how, just by having this registration, it gives you a nice freehand roadmap, and almost all that pencil line you did, that stencil cut, is gone. You don't see it anymore. Ooh, a scorpion. Okay, nice, nice. I think I got about 5 or 10 minutes left in me, guys, in this heat. But I'm glad all the systems are working. Like I said, it's probably not good to try to overheat this system on the first night out anyway. In this, I'm not even using the micron, guys. This detail is all being done with the Eclipse. Scarecrow in the field, nice. And you can see, I think I spent the first hour kind of talking about process and what went wrong last time. And we got a good amount done on this for about an hour's worth of work or less, 45 minutes. And, that's directly correlated to the process. Working smart. Bring up that reference piece here. Yeah. Starting to get a little bit of that look, I think. I don't know, not too bad for the first feedback. I think the test run's good. I think we'll be just fine with this setup until the new big one comes out. But when you hashtag something, does it attach? Search multiple. It doesn't really search multiple platforms, but it does become like a meta tag where it becomes popular. But what it does is I can do a search. I can go into my chat description and search hashtag DDT and pull them all up afterwards. There's ways to do that. So, I'm not like super versed on it either, but that's kind of why they do it, because it becomes easier to like. Because if I find something, I can see all the hashtags. I can see what comes up more routinely, and if there's multiples and populars and things like that. That's why it's used on the internet, because it's like a Google search, not Google, but it's like a way to search rank something. Because if 20 people out of 100 put the same item hashtag in, and 5 people the other, you can kind of sort based on like what was more popular. So yeah. So I think that's kind of where I'm gonna leave it for the night. It is damn hot up here, and yeah, I'm gonna get overheated quick. So, oops, do that. Yeah, I'm sweating. Yeah, and so in platforms like it's kind of like when you do the @ symbol, you @ someone, it tags that person so they know you did it. When you hashtag, you can search by popular hashtags. Like on Instagram, if I put a hashtag something, I can see how popular. Like if you hit hashtag like airbrush, you can see they usually have a number next to it in like the search column, like how many times that's been used. Like, oh, that search tag has been used 1,000,000 times. It's popular. That one's not popular. You can check kind of rankings for something like that. That's kind of the point of it. Yeah, basically, that's basically how it works. Someone can probably explain it better than I am, but. It's just like the more, like you guys like these posts, like I gotta start putting targets, because, if I get 100 likes on this video starts getting shown to more people. If it gets 1,000 likes, it shows to even more people. If more people comment on it, this video gets shared to even more people because it becomes more popular and it starts to trend. That's what trending means. And something going viral means it trends a lot. Like I did one video once that I just hit the tagging right, the popularity. If you look, it was lowrider panel art how to. That video, I got close to 300,000 views on it. Just that one video, because it was got popular and just hit the kind of, it didn't go viral, but it got popularity. So yeah. Yeah, I am going to go downstairs and get cool. I might actually go jump in the pool, actually. We've had such crappy weather up here, between storms and rain, that even keep my pool warm. Because I have so many trees in my backyard, the pool has to have a heater on it, or it never gets above 60, 65. But we've had so much rain, I haven't been able to really do that. So I think my pool's only at like 75, 70, 72, but it'll be a nice way to cool off for the night. No, man, that little robot will just stay in the pool, man. He keeps vacuuming while I'm swimming. It's so slow, it just rolls around and sucks stuff up. It's not dangerous. Maybe if you had long hair and you were little and get close to it, but it just rolls really slow. So that thing, if anyone has an in-ground pool, a pool in general, not in-ground. If you have a pool, and you want to save yourself a lot of cleaning time and vacuuming, dude, these robot skimmers, it's just like a Roomba that roams around the pool. It's solar power. You never even have to plug it in. It just runs as long as it has power. It just scrolls around, sucking the stuff up. Now, almost nothing goes in my skimmer, and almost nothing hits the bottom, so vacuuming is less. And it was like a $300 piece of equipment. It's honestly the best thing I got. My wife got it for her early Father's Day gift. She got it in early, and she gave it early. She goes, I couldn't bear to watch you out there day after day skimming the pool, because we have a lot of trees, knowing this thing was sitting in a box. So, yeah. I'm just cleaning out my brushes quick while we'll chat with you guys. And if you have any questions, comments, like I said, more suggestions for what we're going to paint, feel free. I really like I said, I really appreciate everyone's patience. For those here, obviously, don't forget this is coming up next year. If you guys are over in the UK, I'm going to be teaching seminars and workshops over there next May. There's going to be links and descriptions. I'll get all that going soon. We have time to plan. It's May 2026, but that's going to be really cool. Yeah, I got the robot vacuum for the bottom, which is awesome. But the robot skimmer, man, the robot skimmer for me is even better than the robot vacuum. Love the thing. I know they have some that do both. That vacuum underground, under the water, do the sides, and come up and skim the top. Those are expensive and cool, but and even these skimmers used to be kind of janky and expensive, but this one, man, was so cheap. Make Caden. Who's Caden? Oh, I think you're thinking Kaylee, my daughter. But yes. She barely uses the pool. She's not going to clean it. She's got other responsibilities. Like now she's back from college, just organizing and cleaning her room and shit. And cleaning up everything. And trying to find a summer job, which is not easy for kids. Alright, I think I'm cleaned up enough. So I did my quick clean out. I put a little reducer in there, a little water in the bowl, put a piece of tape over the vent hole, and these stay nice and usable. Yeah, a buddy of mine painted a couple of those. Did custom. There's a couple of Patriots that have them that they did. Yeah, I've seen the lawnmower ones, and now they got snow blower ones. Man, those snow blower ones worry me, man. They better have really good fucking robotic sensors for things that get stuck or things in the way, because snow blowers are gnarly. If you guys have never experienced what a snow blower can do. Let's just say you don't want to get any part of your body inside near that thing because it doesn't stop. I know friends who've lost limbs and digits and things from them, and even the snow getting shot out. I had someone I know lost fingertips because he was trying to clear the chute, and it kicked once over, and it shot like hard packed snow, ice chunks out. And it just destroyed his fingers through the glove. So yeah, don't mess with snow blowers if you don't know. This would go character. It's awesome. All right, guys. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed the feed. I'm glad this worked out. And yeah, the system's working good. It's clean. It's stable. We're good to go until the newer, better one comes out, which really isn't going to affect you much. But I like all the extra features, and I like the way it records everything, and I can do more content. That's the major reason for the bigger one. And I'm a tech geek. I love stuff that can do stuff. And my goal is to obviously make this channel bigger, better, and grow it, and have video content be better. And I do a lot of it myself, so that equipment allows me to do a lot here without having other people trying to drive it for me. So, yeah, just use RC tractors for snow. Yep, there you go. All right, guys. Hey, have an awesome Father's Day weekend to all the dads out there, or all the moms that have to be dads as well. Everyone, have a great weekend. And if you don't have your dad around anymore, like I do, sorry, it sucks. But you still keep them in mind. And have an awesome Father's Day weekend. Be safe. Be happy. I'll see you guys Monday night. Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks. Part 2 of the sea turtle painting.